Hello everybody, this is Susie. Welcome to my craft room. Okay, I want to do go over the junk journal Julys that I have been working on, and this one is the one that I'm the most caught up on. I got through day 12 with the secret note, and so I'm going to start with day 13 and go through today, which is day 16, and then I'm going to do the other one, which I have ready as well. Now this one is the one that is hosted by Creativity and Coffee, and I've really enjoyed doing this. So let me just run through here and get to my today's. The last one I showed you was the secret journaling. So then this one is junk mail. So I just took it's like a piece of card. Usually you get them like with like campaign ads and things like that. Well, this one's, that kind of card, but it came from some kind of medical something or another. But anyway, I left it just like that. So, you could tell that it was a piece of junk mail. And then I actually took junk mail and turned over on the back. Of course, it's coffee dyed. And just put a couple of pages there. And when I coffee dyed this page, it kind of did whatever it did to it. And made it run or whatever. But anyway, that's kind of my little junk mail piece. And then this piece right here is a desk or workplace setup. So this is kind of a picture of my little area right here. And then I just glued a paper clip in. You'll see where I covered it in the back, so it's permanently stuck. And then I just put a little booklet of little pages in here to journal on. And then the next page was a time capsule. So I have this little guy, and he dug a hole and he buried his little time capsule. I will probably write on here time capsule, or maybe up here, but this is actually a pocket. And I really love the way this page turned out. I used a book page that was like just half of a page of writing, and the other half was blank, and I glued it down. And then I had this torn piece of packaging from Amazon, and I glued that down. And then of course I just glued that on three sides to make that pocket. And I love today's. Today was circle, and so I just took circles and glued them all over the back. And then I made this little tiny thing. It looks kind of like a flower, but you can put it together or you can open it back up, whatever. But that one is permanently attached. I just thought it was cute, so I just stuck it there. And then I put a circle here and a bigger circle here. Well, this one I tucked in, and it's got little journaling places here with several pages that, I put in there. And that just tucks right in there. And then I have one back here that's kind of opened up, same principle. This one kind of opens up like a flower too. So that's some little journaling places. And then I have this little circle, and I tuck this in here, and it's just two little deals, and so you can write on that. You use that for a secret spot. And so that tucks in. And that brings me up to the 16th, which is today on this journal, and I love it. So please go over to Creativity and Coffee, see what she's been up to, and all the other people that have joined with her, and see what they've been doing. It's a lot of fun, and everybody's doing something a little bit different. So I kind of just want to give her a big shout out. Now, to get back to Lee's Art and Junk Journal Wonderland, this is hers, and I haven't done this one in quite a while, and I can't remember where I left off showing y'all what I had done. Hopefully I got a new butt pillow today, and so far I've been able to work longer than I was before. That doesn't mean I work every day, but we're gonna just pray about that and believe that that's gonna be the deal. So anyway, this is, like I said, Lee's Art and Junk Journal Wonderland. This is her challenge, and again, make sure you go check her out, and anybody who's joined that challenge too, to see what everybody's doing. So I remember showing you the torn pages and the touch of gold that I put on here. This was the botanical, so I made little flowers there, and I made a little botanical journal that fits under this belly band. And then this page was vintage, so I have this old vintage tobacco sale bill, and you can see where they use that that old-timey, what's that called, mimeograph. Was that was called mimeograph things? if y'all are as old as me, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But in school, everything had that funky look to it. You know, we didn't have copiers like we do now. And then I just put this little journal, tucked it right in the bottom here. And then this page was tags. So I made 2 big old tags and stuck them in this pocket. I'll probably put more, and then I'm probably going to attach a ribbon or something to those later. And this day was one color. So I just went pink crazy. And I got this pink dyed paper and stuff from Jacquelyn over at Lovely's Crafting Lodge. And she generally has a sale like every Friday afternoon, like at 4 o'clock. And it lasts till about 7 or 8. And so anyway, that's where I get most of my dyed papers from. She does such a great job. And, you know, because I can't stand and do stuff like that anymore, I can't find anybody who does a better job than she does. So that's where I get these. And I got this bag from her as well that she had dyed in pinks. And then some other papers. And so that turned out really good. I'm going to probably open this into so that this will be a pocket as well as this bag being a pocket. So we have one on both sides. And then I completely attached that down so it's, you know, not movable. This day was Stamp It. And so I took some little stamps and I just stamped various little pictures all over this page. This is kind of a collage page. And then I colored in a few of them. You know, I love stamps because you can just make them look different. You know, depending on, this is the same stamp, but they look totally different. One reason is because this one didn't stamp completely as this one did. But one thing with things that don't quite stamp perfectly, you don't have to worry about it, because the human mind, it tells our eyes to fill in the parts that are missing. So probably if I hadn't told you that didn't completely stamp all those, you wouldn't have noticed it, because our eye automatically wants to fill that in or make it look like it's supposed to be like that. So if you get a stamp that doesn't stamp just exactly right, don't worry about it. And like I said, you know, I can, like this hat, I could have made it. I don't know if I got it here, but I didn't color this one. But those look completely different, you know. To me, that one actually kind of looks like a hamburger that I did it that color. That's kind of weird, isn't it? But, you know, it kind of looks like a bun. And then I've never had my meat that red in the middle, but I guess some people would like rare, but that would look raw. But, you know, I could do this hat in blue and it looked completely different. And then just other little stamps. You can color them any way you want to, and they just look different no matter how you do them. So, anyway, that is a pocket there, so I can stick something in there at some point. And this page is just words. And I made a pocket down here as well. And so I just took some words that I had and kind of tore these, you know, around and glued them on. And this one, you know, was cut kind of perfect. But that kind of, I like the differences in the torn look and then the neat look. I think that just kind of makes it all kind of come together really nicely. This day was lace. And so this is a pocket that goes this way. This lace I also got from Jacquelyn over at Lovely's Crafting Lodge. She does laces and fabrics and things like that too. So I do get nearly almost all of my dyed stuff from her. There are some things that I will spray here, you know, at my workspace. But, you know, that's just for a few little pieces maybe here and there. But for the most part, I have to get my stuff somewhere else. So she does a great job. So if you haven't checked her out, I'll leave her link down below as well. Now this day was worn, and so I took some old Amazon packaging, and this is actually 2 pieces, and I scrunched up this piece really good to kind of give it that leather look. And I took my water and I just sprayed it and dampened it, and I scrunched it up, and then as I was opening, I on purpose let it tear. I wasn't trying to be super fragile with it because I was trying to get that worn look. And then once I got that down there, I had taken some like cream color paint, and I thinned it down a whole bunch, and then I just kind of rubbed it on there to lighten it up a little bit because I wanted to darken it down. You know, it's kind of hard to make this exact look, and I wanted that kind of lighter leather look. And so that's what I did here. And then once I got that color down, then I took some brown shoe polish, you know, the paste kind of shoe polish, and I rubbed it on there. And then on top of that, just very, very lightly, I just hit a few places with the black, you know, to make it look like it had been handled and was worn, especially like, you know, on the spine here, maybe the bottom edge. And so anyway, I just threw some papers in there and made a little journal, and it tucks right in there. I'll probably add, you know, something, a stamp, a phrase or something on here. But the whole point was just to get the worn look for this day. Now this day was scribbles and I think doodles or something. Let me see, scribbles or doodles. So I kind of did both. I kind of made little doodles and little scribbly lines and little dots. But then I left journaling space as well. I just kind of pasted that on there. This was actually, this white page with the blue writing was actually the real page that was in this, you know, before I started covering pages. So I really wanted to do that just to, you know, make it look different. So I really liked how that page turned out. Now this page is a window. It's for a window. And I really had fun with this one because I took a junk mail envelope. And when I did this, now there's a couple ways that you can do these envelopes. I could have taken and taken my scraps, you know, whatever they are, and, you know, cut them perfectly, like to put that there and then maybe that there, and, you know, to make it like that. But I wanted to kind of give this one a cohesive look. So what I did was I reached in, actually I cut my envelope open, and then I left it sealed on two sides and just cut two sides open. And it was too long, so I needed to cut it off anyway. But I opened it up and I pulled out that, what's that called? That plastic that's in there. Anyway, I pulled it out. And so that left the window just wide open. Now, I do have a piece back in there now. And that's just from some packaging that I had that I actually cut to replace that piece that I had cut out. But anyway, when I did this, I wanted this to kind of be really cool. So I made this journaling card. I cut it to size so that you could read, you know, what that said. And then you pull that journaling card out and you can pull this journaling card out. And then look, I put the piece that I had cut out in there. And believe it or not, it was cut funny because, you know, when you're going to cut out the center, you got to kind of go in and, you know, what I'm talking about. But anyway, so I pasted that in there and it just looks like it would have looked pretty much before I had cut it out. So I thought that turned out looking really cool. So then when I put the envelope in here, I only glued it on the three sides so it has a pocket in the back, or I put two journaling cards back here. So I really, really like how that one turned out. I think it's really cool. And then this page was a map. And so I just printed out a map, a world map. And it's obviously a pocket. I made it a double thickness because I'd only done that on copy paper. So I just did a double thickness of copy paper. I glued the first sheet to the second, and, you know, just to give it some bulk so when you put stuff in and out, it wouldn't tear so easy. And of course, I just glued it on the three sides, and I'm gonna stick something in there. I'd like to find some tags that are map related or travel related or something to put in there just to kind of be cohesive with that. And let me tell you about this paper back here. This was just some scripty looking writing, and I had actually printed on white paper. And what I did was, a long time ago, I made this little concoction, and this is like a cheap PVA glue, like you get from, you know, Dollar Tree, which is now the $1.25 tree. But it's just some cheap, you know, school PVA glue, and I put it in here, and then I make up a coffee solution so that when I need to spray coffee or whatever, I have it in a bottle to, you know, that I can spray. But I took some coffee. When I use a coffee pot, you know, I don't use instant coffee, so I use a coffee pot, and every day there's always some left in the bottom of my pot. And I have an old Pepsi bottle that I've had around for a long time, like a 2-liter bottle, and whatever coffee I've left, I just pour in that Pepsi bottle. And now you can't just leave coffee like that, or it'll mildew. So you have to put some alcohol or something in it to keep it from mildewing. Well, I use mouthwash because it's a natural antiseptic, and it will keep the bacteria from growing. So in that big Pepsi bottle, it's got coffee in it, and I don't know, maybe a couple tablespoons of mouthwash for the whole big bottle of Pepsi. Or it's not Pepsi, it's coffee in the Pepsi bottle. So I just took coffee from that and poured it in with my glue, and I made this kind of color. It's whatever. But anyway, the reason I like mixing it with glue and not just having the coffee is because this comes out a little bit lighter, and I wish you could see this better, but when you just put one layer on, it gives like this really nice kind of creamy brownish look. And then I went over in the middle because I wasn't thinking about the map going on here. I was just prepping a page. And so I went back and just kind of went like in the middle to show where it was a little bit darker in spots. And that's what this is where I kind of made it a little bit darker than it is, say, here. So I like the control of this, that I can have it really very light, and then I can build on it to make it darker if I want to. So that's kind of what I did here. And I want to talk to y'all about glue sticks. I hate glue sticks. I hate them, hate them, hate them. I don't trust any of them. I bought every kind I can think of. Probably the Oohoo being the best, or maybe even this, what is Avery glue stick. But I don't trust them. If you ever see me use a glue stick, which is probably never, it's because I'm going to sew something. Or if I'm doing a napkin, I'll use it to set the napkin down. And then then I still go over it with, you know, a medium, or what's it called? I don't use Mod Podge because it's sticky here in the South. But you know what I'm talking about, selling like that. But anyway, so if I ever use a glue stick, and I wanted to show you this particularly because I did this one on purpose. This is one of those that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I think there were 2 in a pack. It might have just been 1, but I bought it and then I left it sitting open for a day. And now I've used this so it doesn't look as dried up as it did before I used it. But I let it kind of dry up a little bit because my purpose is not really to use the glue stick itself. My purpose is to spread glue with. So when I take my glue, and we'll just say this is Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 or whichever one of those I bought. So anyway, when I put the glue down, you know, you know how when you put glue down and then you can tell in your paper that you have like the glue lines or whatever. Well, when I put the glue down, I can take this stick that I let dry out, and then I just run over the glue and it spreads it nicely. With a brush, then I have to clean my brush every single time. With the glue stick, I don't. I just put the lid on it, and the next time I want to use it, I use it. So that's just kind of something that I do that, you know, I know this isn't a process video, but I'm just trying to share a little bit of, you know, things that I do that I kind of come up with on my own. And then my latest, well, let me finish this and then I'll tell you about that. Okay, and now this day was a faded photograph. So what I did here is I printed off a photograph, and then I wasn't really able to adjust it where I could get it to fade like I wanted to. It did a little bit, but not really like I wanted it to do. And so I took this like this, and I just painted one little coat on it. Then I took a little piece of sandpaper and sanded that down, and then I took another coat of this and just kind of brushed it here and there, so it made it look aged and faded. So that's how I accomplished that. I haven't decided, you know, what I'm going to do as far as a pocket. Excuse me, 1 second. Sorry about that. My TV decided to come on for some reason, and nobody is near that remote, so it's kind of strange. Anyway, I haven't decided whether I want a pocket here or maybe another like paper clip in here, or how I want to do that, because I really like the picture. You know, if I put a pocket, I'm going to cover something up, so I don't think I really want to do that. Maybe I'll just do a flippy pad. This day was, and this is the natural color of this paper. I didn't do anything to it. It's just that colored. But this day was to write in the margins. So I just kind of, you know, scribbled, and, you know, you can't really tell what I wrote. And I didn't mean for you to tell what I wrote, but this one actually was a very beautiful day, but I just kind of, you know, quickly did stuff. I don't even remember what the rest of it said, but I just wanted to show how I was kind of writing in the margins. This day was postcards, and so I attached the postcards, and you can still use them to journal on. And of course, this is book page background. And so that brought me up to date on this one. Am I right? Yes, today's 16th. Okay, so that was today. So I'm all caught up on both. And again, this is Lee's Art and Junk Journal Wonderland. I'm going to leave the JJJC 2025 hashtag, and then I'll also link her in the description below. And this one is the Creativity and Coffee, which is the JJJ 2025, and I'll have that as a hashtag and also link it below. But while I'm showing y'all some things, let me see what I got over here that I can show you. Oh, okay, let me just say, before I even show you this, don't buy it. No matter what, don't buy it. On Amazon, of course, I'm always looking for glue that I can get a little bit cheaper than Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 or art glitter glue or whatever, and so that'll work good, that I don't need for fabric or for metals. So I bought this, and when I bought it, it was two. It came two for like, I don't know, $12 or something. Now, I guess because it's such crap, they've made it a 3-pack. Don't buy it. Just don't even do it. It is the stickiest mess you have ever seen in your whole life. And the reason I bought it was because one of the reviews said, junk journaler's dream or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's not. It's my nightmare. This stuff is so sticky, which would make me think that means it would hold good. Oh no, it's just sticky for no good reason. I'm not real impressed with the way it holds. I'm not real impressed with anything about it, so I let my grandkids have it. But I did take some and I put it in this bottle, and I'm going to show you why I did that. This glue is the clear glue. Am I telling the truth? No, I'm not telling the truth. Yes, I am. Okay, this was the clear glue, and I didn't like it, so I wasn't going to use it like that. So what I did was I mixed this and I put glue, junk, which meant that the glue is junk. So I don't use it for glue. So I mixed it with baby powder cornstarch. I couldn't find my regular cornstarch, but I had the baby powder cornstarch, and I put that in here. And I put a pretty good amount of the cornstarch because the first time I tried it, it worked, but not like I wanted it to. So I just added some more of the baby powder cornstarch in there. And what I was trying to do is find a way to take the shine off of magazines. Sometimes I can use the Awesome Cleaner and, you know, a cloth or something, and just rub that on there, and it'll take the shine away. But a lot of magazines, it doesn't. So I took this one, and I hope you can see this all right. Let me turn my light on. Maybe you can see it better. And this was a shiny page. Well, I took this, and when I first put it on, I used like a card, you know, like a gift card or something. And I just ran it in the glue and did like that. Well, when it dried, it came out with kind of streaks of shiny. You can still see streaks of shiny. So I didn't like that. So then I took a brush and, you know, just kind of let me show you which brush I used. Like this brush. And I dipped it in there and I painted it on. And when it dried, it is perfectly matte. So that worked out perfectly. So the only thing, using the baby powder cornstarch, or the cornstarch baby powder, I guess it is. Okay, so it's not baby powder cornstarch, it's cornstarch baby powder. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, it does have the slightest little shimmer in it, which I think is pretty cool. I don't mind it. But you know, just how powder, I guess the talc has little shiny pieces of silicate in it or whatever. So it has you probably can't even see it on there. I mean, it's so subtle, but I see it. But it doesn't bother me. Actually, I like the effect. So what I did here is I thought, well, if that worked to do that, then what if I added some coffee? So I put some more of that glue in this bottle, and I put glue, junk, and then I'm going to mix it with the coffee. I just haven't brought the coffee in here to pour in here yet. I like to pour that over the sink because somehow I always seem to make a mess. So I'm going to add coffee to this, and I only did it half full, not because I'm going to do the rest with coffee, because I'm not. I'm probably going to go like a quarter of it with coffee. I want to mix it up and then paint it on another shiny piece and see if that will do two things. If it'll take the shine away, plus give it that aged look, because this does not have the aged look. Or if I'm going to have to add cornstarch or the cornstarch baby powder and in with it to get the dull look plus the aged look. So I'm just kind of experimenting around and see what I can come up with. because, you know, trying to buy the media, what is this? Well, that's just, what's my other one over here? That's just matte medium. That's what I'm trying to think of. Matte medium is expensive to me. And so I'm looking for other ways to create my own matte medium. And, you know, I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, most of the time I use the vintage look. And so I definitely want it to be like the coffee dyed. So that's why I want to do this with coffee. And if necessary, with the baby powder, because I can't find my cornstarch. If I find my cornstarch, then I'll just add cornstarch to that, or I'll write on there that I use the cornstarch baby powder. But that's kind of the look I wanted to get here. Now, this little bottle I made up the other day. If you can see, the bottom is gold, and that's paint. And I took and I put about yay much gold paint in there, and I filled the rest with water, and I just shook it up real good, and I sprayed it on some pages. And what made me think to do it was when I was doing this one and did a touch of gold, I wanted to see if I could take this paint, because I never ever use it, hardly. And I took the same paint and I put it in this bottle and shook it up real good, and I just sprayed like that. And when it dried, it leaves just the tiniest bit of little shimmer to it, a gold shimmer to it. So I do want to put a little bit more paint in this, because I'd like to have just a little tiny bit more. Now, I've seen Joey DeFee do something similar, but she used mica powder. And I can't swear that she used water. I'm not sure if she used water or alcohol or what she used. I can't remember. But, you know, I had paint, so I used paint. I do have mica powder too, but mica powder is more expensive than this gold paint that I already had on hand. So experiment with what you have. You know, don't go buying a bunch of junk till you figure out, you know, what you have. One other tip I want to give you is, I've had this same ink pad for, I don't know, 6 years or so. It's been a long time. And it's had it. I mean, if you look at it, you can tell it's kind of had it. Well, I keep refreshing it, and I don't buy the refreshers because I can't really afford them. So what I do is I have my little spray bottle. It's not right here. It's in my other little thing over there. But what I do is I take a little spray bottle this size with water in it, and I take a little tiny bit of glycerin. And this glycerin, I think for this whole bottle was like maybe $3, maybe up to $4. It wasn't any more than $4. But I take maybe a couple of drops of glycerin and mix it with water in one of these little bottles. And then I just spray that on here. And it refreshes it enough. It's not, I'm sure it's not as good as the refresher is, because it doesn't refresh it like dark. It's just reactivating the ink that's still in that pad. And like I said, it's really old, so it's not a bold color, but it rehydrates it. The reason I use the glycerin is because it keeps it from drying out as quick. If you just use water, water evaporates relatively quickly, relatively quickly. And so with putting the glycerin on there, or in there, it gives me, you know, a lot more time to use this. And of course, I can just spray it again when I need to. Now, I do have a newer one that I use when I want to, you know, ink my pages or my pieces, you know, and have a more consistent thing. But if I'm just in a quick hurry to do some edges or something, I've got this right here. I've got my little, well, I had my little thingy somewhere right here. Here it is. And I just grab it real quickly and ink whatever real fast. But, you know, if I'm doing a whole journal at a time or a bunch of pieces at a time, then I just use that. So I guess that's all the little tips I have for you today. I don't know, I just saw this stuff sitting here that I've been using in these two journals, and I just thought I'd kind of share some of my little nickel knowledge with you, and maybe give you some ideas to try something, encourage you to try something. This is actually the baby powder I use, the cornstarch baby powder, and this came from Dollar Tree too. So I love the Dollar Tree, or $1.25 tree now. But anyway, that's it for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I want y'all to go and check out these two women's channels. They're wonderful, lovely ladies. They do great work. You'll have a lot of fun seeing what they do and the other people do. And heck, go ahead and join in with us and have some fun with us. You don't have to catch up, or if you want to, you can, or just, you know, enjoy the process just from today on. just have fun, you know, enjoy your art, enjoy your craft. You know, we all need that creativity. This is our happy place, and, you know, we need to get there as often as we can, even if it's just to do a little something. So anyway, thank y'all for joining me today. Please don't forget to like, and for all my subscribers, thank you for coming. And for those who haven't subscribed, please, you know, hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you'll be notified when I do upload a video. It's not very often right now, but, you know, I'm trying to get to a place where I can do more. But again, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.